Hey guys, Run1 here, and we're going to be doing a short read on a short story, I guess, as you could call it, about Five Nights at Freddy's, but it's an inspired story by my friend in Necromancer Gaming. I'll put down a link in the description below, along with my contact information if you want to do whatever you want. So, here we go. Ah, dang it! I exclaimed as Foxy stuck his scary robotic face through the left door, while at the same time making a high-pitched screech noise as my screen then turned to a white noise. I then decided that I was no longer going to play the game. I was just too frustrated because I was so close to beating the fourth night. Five Nights at Freddy's is said to be one of the scariest games of all time, but I just never found it all that scary. I guess because I usually play it with the lights on, or else I can't see my keyboard. And I don't play with a headset for, they say, a better experience. Although when the robots get right up in my face and make that screech noise, it's a little startling. I looked at the clock. 10:48 it read. It's really late, I said to myself. Then I shut down my computer, set my alarm, and turned out the lights, and I went to sleep. The next day after I got home, my mother bombarded me with job opportunities. I'm 19, and my mom thought it was about time that I got a job. She gave me all of these forms and papers: GameStop, Best Buy, Wegmans, Chuck E. Cheese's, Series, Barnes & Nobles, and a bunch of other forms as such. I thought all of these were freaking stupid. Then, as a small wisp of air slipped out of my lips, as I was about to say something, my mom interrupted me. Your sister's birthday and your little cousin's birthday are coming up, so I was thinking you could get working at Chuck E. Cheese's so you could get a discount for them. We then erupted into an argument that lasted about 7 minutes. Then my mom said, "You're going to work at Chuck E. Cheese's and that's final. Tomorrow, after school, you're going to call them to see when you could go to the interview." I sighed in annoyance as I went back to my room with the forms for Chuck E. Cheese's in my hand. The obnoxious sound of rap filled my ears as I sat on the bus trying to be patient, even though the bus is louder than a football game. Only 4 more stops until I could get off this moving torture cell. I went to my room, and I dropped my bag on my bed, and I pulled out my phone and called the number on the interview form. After the call was over, the woman on the phone had said to come there any time, as they needed more workers. So I waited for 2 hours for my mom to get home, and then I left. When I arrived at Chuck E. Cheese's, a horde of loudy, bratty children almost caused me to fall over as they ran out of the front doors. I went to the young man standing at the desk where he walked in, and I told him I was there for the interview. He then led me to the manager's office. I sat down in the empty chair in front of the manager's desk, and a name tag was on his desk, and a shirt indicated that his name was Mr. Sampson. We had a short discussion, and I presented my resume. He told me the only thing available for me was to work the night shift. So he told me I'd get paid $7.50 an hour, and we shook hands. I agreed. He gave me my uniforms, and he said I could start at 8 o'clock tonight. 7:45, I have eaten dinner, put on my uniform, and I'm on my way to work at the night shift at Chuck E. Cheese's. When I arrived, there were still a couple families there, just getting ready to leave. I got to the manager's office. He guides me to the camera room. He says, all you have to do is watch these cameras. In about an hour, we will close up shop, and then your shift will officially start. I nodded in agreement and said thank you. As he left the room, I began to familiarize myself with the cameras and what they saw and where. I sat there playing on my phone until around 8:56. The manager came in and asked, and just as I was putting my phone away, he said, "Okay, are you ready for your first day?" "Yes, sir," I said confidently. "Alright then, let's cut to the chase. This is basically the control room. You can turn on the lights on and off and rotate the cameras. All you had to do is just make sure no one is trying to break in, and that's pretty much it. So good luck, and I'll call you tomorrow morning and see how everything went." We said goodbye to each other, and I watched him leave the building on the cameras. He locked the door and drove away. Now I was truly alone. It was now 9:30. I had music playing on my phone, but it was at 15% battery life, so I just decided to turn it off. As I sat there, fatigue had started to tighten its grip on me. I soon became very tired, and at this point, I almost passed out. Just then, I don't know if it was just my imagination, but in the dining room view, I thought I saw an animatronic, Chuck E. Cheese, turn around and look at the camera. The dining room view camera. As I rubbed my eyes and looked again to reassure myself, yes, it was just my imagination. Another hour passed, and I was on the edge of falling asleep. But as I was checking the screen again, the animatronic Chuck E. Cheese was no longer on the stage. Naturally, I thought it was my imagination again, so I rubbed my eyes and looked again. But this time, he was really gone. I was a little creeped out, and I began to frantically check the cameras. Then I saw him standing at the door, with his black and red guitar still in his hands. He then turned his head very slowly towards the front door view camera, looking directly at me with his intimidating blue eyes. The front door to get out, with each bang noise, was more frightening than the last. He startled me as he lifted up his guitar and turned his head quickly, then started banging on the door. Bang, bang, bang. I looked at the cameras. He was not at the front door anymore. I could not see him anywhere. I kept looking at the cameras, but I couldn't find him. Then, boom. He found the control room. Somehow he knew I was in there. Boom, 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 went his guitar on the door. It took a while, but he finally broke the hinges off the door, and I was hiding under the desk. I watched his furry metal feet on the floor, looking for me. The lights went off in the room. It was pitch black, all except for his glowing eyes that belonged to the evil animation in the room. With me. Chucky kicked the chair out of the way, bent down slowly, and looked up against Ven. The menacing high-pitched screech noise the robots from Five Nights at Freddy's made. He grabbed me by my shirt with his furry metal paw, dragged me out from under the desk. Then we were both staring into each other. He was bent over looking at me, and I was in the armadillo position on the floor preparing for the worst. Then he raised the guitar over my head, and I squeezed my eyes as it fell. Bam! He split my skull apart. My jaw and neck bone were a few feet away from my skull cap, and optic nerves were still connected to my brain, so my eyeballs were hurtling spinning around in my brain. And my brain was thinking extremely fast, yet so slow at the same time. I knew it was only a matter of seconds before I was going to die. About 15 seconds has passed by now, and I could see Chucky still swinging his guitar, butchering and manipulating my body. Then I saw a bright flash of light. Sweating and breathing heavily, I woke up. It was all a dream. The killing, the job, even being 19 years old. I had all dreamed of all of it. It was still in my mind the horrific face of Chuck E. Cheese. But yet, it was over now. Some dreams are easily forgotten. Others stay with you, haunt you the more you try to remember them. That was one of those dreams. I looked at the clock. 4:28 I read. I could still not get over the fact that it was just a dream. It was all so vivid. But I will try to do my best to forget about it. I know it's a little early in the morning to be doing so, but I decided to calm myself down and to attempt to forget the nightmare I just experienced. I went to go turn my television on, and I turned it to channel 30 and I watched Hanging with Mr. Cooper. With the lights on until my alarm clock sounded and it was time to go to school. I know one thing for sure, it's that I will never be going anywhere near Chuck E. Cheese's ever again. So that was the story. Sorry if I stuttered a little bit, it's just because I was reading this live, or whatever, I don't know how you put it, but I was reading it and, it's not off a website. He actually printed it out for me, so that's why I stuttered a little bit. But, cool, interesting fact. The guy who made this, Ashton, you know how this is a story about Chuck E. Cheese's, right? Well, the very next day, or heck, maybe the afternoon after he got out of school, his father or mother, somebody said that they were going to be going to Chuck E. Cheese's once he got his homework done. So that was just a little side information, but, I found it pretty funny. Him making a little short story about Chuck E. Cheese's and how it was all a dream, and then the next day going to Chuck E. Cheese's. To answer some of your questions, if you may have any, yes, Chuck E. Cheese's does have animatronics. Maybe one or two, like a special Chucky if there's a birthday or whatever. Maybe. I don't know. But all I know, there's only one. So yeah, that was the end of it. It was pretty nice, But on the paper, he did misspell inspired and forget some spaces here and there, and one letter he missed. But, yeah, that was the short story. I hope you enjoyed. Please go support my friends down below in the description. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye-bye.